All right, quite the night. If you're waking up this morning, you are learning a PC majority victory here in Ontario. So, any market reaction to this one? Let's get over to Mike Eppel at 680. Good morning to you. I'm sure you stayed up for all of the action.
I did.
I did too. That's why I'm so tired this morning.
I know. I put out on Facebook last night. I had my chips and dip and ready to go.
Really?
Yeah.
You know, our Cynthia Mulligan, a political expert, was saying it's like the Oscars for her.
Yeah,
right?
I don't disagree with that.
A lot of drama.
It's fascinating, and it was remarkable, actually, to see how quickly the vote tabulation was completed. Nevertheless, markets do watch political developments because it does have, budgetary implications, and that's going to be the big thing to watch going forward here, Melanie, is when you have, one political party in power for, well, in this case, 15 years, and then you have a new group coming in. And there had already been questions about how the Liberal government was doing the accounting on the budgets. The Auditor General was saying, yeah, you're taking into account a lot of things that might not be or shouldn't be on the books. So, the Doug Ford government here can talk about cutting taxes and spending on all sorts of things. But bottom line could be that there's not as much money there to spend. So that first budget is going to be fascinating. In the previous spring budget from the Wynne government, Moody's had already put Ontario sort of on a credit alert, saying, the debts are climbing and debt service costs are pretty high as well. So the market response was initially a Canadian dollar that actually traded a little bit higher. But then, yeah, as it has on so many occasions recently, come back to U.S. President Donald Trump. And that is what is the driving force right now on the morning markets as we gear up for a G7 summit in Quebec. And the U.S. president on Twitter last night calling out Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and French President Emmanuel Macron on the trade file, called Trudeau, quote, so indignant regarding the pushback on trade and really focused on Canada's dairy industry and agricultural trade tariffs, which Trump called unfair. So when you've got ratcheted up trade talk coming out of the White House, you've got market uncertainty. There's some talk that Trump might only go for a day to the G7 summit and then bail and get ready for next week's summit with North Korea. It's going to be fascinating to see how that plays out. Right now we do have stock futures down about 150 points. Again, keep in mind it's early in the day, and we've had a 4-day winning streak for Wall Street and Bay Street coming in. So we've seen these head fakes in the past. What the morning indication is does not necessarily indicate what's going to go on through the entire day, but right now still down. This is a jobs report Friday. Stats Canada set to report on the May labor market statistics. It's been a very choppy start to the year so far for the Canadian labor market. The unemployment rate is expected to fall a little bit to 5.8%. But jobs data, key to Bank of Canada interest rate policy. And I should mention as well, Melanie, before we go, that the Canadian Senate late last night passed Bill C-45, the amended marijuana legalization legislation. So that sets the stage for that to go back to Parliament or the House of Commons now for final bill amendments and then possibly legalization by September. At least that's the talk, and we'll track the cannabis stocks today. Back to you.
All right. Thank you so much, Mike.
You're welcome.